Oh yeah, Savoir, we love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In this bulletin, northern consumers deprived of savings. NFA issues bills for fires at uninsured properties. And 3 facing murder charges further remanded.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Consumers in the Northern Division are being deprived of benefits of cheaper freight and shipping costs to Lebu. The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has launched an inquiry saying there are many layers to the issue. Edwin Nund reports.
Traders, transport service providers and retailers are benefiting from cheaper inter-island charges, but these are not being passed on to consumers.
It has been brought to our attention that cost reductions are not being passed down and is instead being absorbed by some traders. In some instances by freight companies and in other instances by businesses directly.
According to the FCCC, freight charges have dropped to almost half the previous cost with the introduction of new inter-island ships such as Interlink.
Looking at a private vehicle, the charge is reduced from $300 to $150. For 12-wheeler truck, it reduced from around $1,200 to around $750. And for passenger fares, it was reduced from around $55 to $25 one way, possibly the cheapest it has been in recent times.
Abraham says all interested parties must be ethical and ensure that relevant savings are passed on to consumers.
Say a truck company is enjoying this reduction in freight cost, we have found that they are not passing any of these benefits down to Fijian businesses that use their services. And in other instances where Fijian businesses have realized the cost, they have not passed such a reduction to consumers.
Lebu relies heavily on inter-island shipping for most of its supplies, and the FCCC will try to quantify how much savings consumers have lost out on. Edwin Nunn, FBC News.
The National Fire Authority has already billed businesses and homeowners for fires at uninsured premises. Chief Executive Paul Mausoane says for the past month, the NFA has been sending bills to property owners every time they respond to a fire where there is no insurance cover. Soane says they are billing people to encourage fire safety because a lot of property owners are careless about looking after their assets.
See, for example, these 4 buildings here. Okay, the NFA will actually look at the source, where the source of the fire, and that is where we will build, not all the whole building, but where the fire started, the origin of fire.
He adds if homeowners are not able to pay, there will be discussions between the owner and the NFA. Social Democratic Liberal Party leader Sitiveni Rambuka has fired back at former party youth leader Peter Wangabonobono. This comes after Wangabonobono launched an attack on Rambuka for being a proposed candidate for the party's leadership position. SEDELPA will hold an election later this month, and Wangabonobono says Rambuka has been a failed politician since 2000 and he doesn't see any change coming. The leader of SEDELPA says Peter Wangabonobono should raise his concern with the right people.
The selection will be done by a panel, as I understand it, and he should go and talk to them rather than talking to all and sundry, because the management board has gone ahead with a decision that the interview will be done.
The selection for leader and deputy leader will be made during the party's AGM later this month. Relocation is the last option for Yarroi villagers in Matuku despite the rise in sea level and severe storm surges coming to their doorsteps. Weatherman Chone Nyurabi says villagers need to relocate after witnessing the havoc caused by tropical cyclones Winston and Harold. He adds relocation might be a long-term plan for the villagers due to various processes involved.
I was posted to Matuku in 2016. One thing that got me to worry is the recurring storm surges that as far reaches the end of the village and sea level rise. I will continue to remind them about relocation, but I'm thrilled with their resilience. How they react after a disaster.
The state today asked for a week to file their information and disclosures in relation to 3 men alleged to have assaulted a bus driver at the Nausori bus stand on October 3rd. The bus driver died in hospital a week after the alleged incident. Mikaele Laoniale, Chosateki Rokundakunivosa, and Isikeli Langimbalavu each face 1 count of murder and appeared in Suva High Court this morning. The State Council informed the court that they only received the post-mortem report today and asked for 7 days to go through the report and finalize information and disclosures. The matter has been adjourned to next Friday for bail hearing. Businesses in LABASA are facing a downturn in sales as this Diwali is not what it used to be in the past. Many business owners in the Bambasinga town say they recorded the lowest sales this Diwali. Koroi Tandulala has more.
The impact of COVID-19 locally has made Fijians hold back from going all out this Diwali, hence affecting businesses.
Business is very slack, eh? Yeah, not before Diwali. This Diwali is not good for the business.
But from previous years till this year, in Diwali, it's a bit low.
It was really bit busy, but not that like before it was last year, like that.
While some have made decent sales in the past few days, many business owners are just remaining hopeful.
We think that everything should be normal, so that our business run good.
So we are really doing well in sales in this week.
Retailers are hoping the impact of COVID-19 will ease soon with a number of initiatives announced by the government. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
The Agricultural Marketing Authority has noticed an increase in their sales over the past months. Chief Executive Alvin Sharma says they are now exporting a maximum of 10 containers every month, which is a good sign for the agriculture sector. Sharma says their main focus now is to increase the production of targeted products. He says they are also making regular visits to Fijians in the rural and maritime areas to see how they can assist them.
As we go along and our team becomes comfortable, we start fulfilling these orders, then we'll looking at adding more retail lines to our support, which will also include visiting municipal markets, not just in the central division. It will include Fiji-wide, visiting satellite markets to see what they want and can we get those vegetables from within the regions and supply. But we are taking like one step at a time. We don't want to be doing everything at the same time.
Up ahead, 2 new COVID cases for flying Fijians. And bar targets Fiji Fact title.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
The global pandemic continues to hinder the Flying Fijians' preparations ahead of the Autumn Nations Cup. French media are reporting today that 2 more Flying Fijians have tested positive for COVID-19. Rugby newspaper Midi Olympique reports that one of the players is Captain Semi Ranranra. The news comes just 2 days before the national side faces France in its first Autumn Nations Cup match. Fiji Rugby Chief Executive John O'Connor says the infected players are being placed in isolation and further tests will be done today with results expected tomorrow.
As part of the protocol, tests are ongoing. The spread of the thing in France and Europe is quite huge, so we are taking all the precautions. The COVID-19 requirements are quite strict and tight. The boys have prepared well this week.
Despite the challenges, Fiji continues to prepare for their first match against France at 3:15 a.m. on Monday. Young Ram Sami Suva open side flanker Taniela Sundrungu has come a long way since making his debut in round 1 of the Skipper Cup. The 20-year-old, dubbed as the White Shark, has been making headlines throughout the competition. Now Sundrungu is ready to head into his first Skipper Cup final against Naitasiri tomorrow. Caroline Tavi has more.
Daniela Sandrungu debuted for Suva in round 1 against Nandronga at Lawanga Park in Sinatoka when he came off the bench, replacing Vasikali Mundu.
The experience this year was a very good one because of the many overseas best players were playing for the local competition this year. It was a very good experience.
The former Ratu Kandavulevu student has since hung on to the number 7 jersey and says they're expecting a tough clash against Naitasiri tomorrow.
Because final we'll just improve our mistakes from last week. And we know Naitasiri well. They're a very tough team to beat. So we'll be expecting a very tough match this week. They beat us in that area of the game, the scrum and the line-out, so we will improve our scrum and line-out this weekend.
Suva manager Nemani Tuifangalele says the young players will be a threat to senior players in the future.
The younger ones that are coming in have actually played quite well and have stamped their mark on some of the jersey numbers. And again, that's another threat to the senior players. But I guess we are trying to blend more. We're trying to get a blend of a good team between young players and senior players.
Suva is ready to defend its keeper title against Naitasiri tomorrow at ANZ Stadium. The match will kick off at 6 p.m. Carlini Tavi, FBC Sports.
The Bar football team wants to end the year on a winning note with the Fiji Fact just around the corner. The Men in Black are the most successful team and have won the prestigious title 8 times since the tournament started in 1991. Grouped in Pool A, Bar will meet LABASA, Nasinu and Rewa. The side knows it will not be an easy task.
It's a tough pool. Obviously it's a tournament, so all teams will come prepared. We have to do our best from right from the first whistle. And we do hope to qualify and take it all the way and try and win the tournament.
Climbing up the ladder to the Skipper Cup final has been a work in progress for the Naitasiri women's rugby side. The Highlanders have been building the team since the women's Skipper began in 2018 to become one of the best local rugby clubs. 3 years later, the team is slowly achieving its target as they prepare for the final against Lautoka. Coach Eleanor Kunatumba says this is only the beginning.
I believe for last year we had aimed for top 4 finish, and this year before the season started we spoke about finishing top 2, and being here in the final is quite exciting. Well, atmosphere in camp has been pretty good in terms of team spirit.
Expect fine conditions to continue throughout the country over the next few days. A trough of low pressure over the country is expected to weaken further and move away by tomorrow. That's FBC News Now. Join us again at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. You need news you can trust. Get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth. Thank you for your time. Have a safe and happy Diwali.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.
Bula FM, number 2 NSR.